One, two. So, this is Lou Martin. Here's MJ Halligan. MJ and I are old friends, thank God. And she's much cheerier than I am today. She's gonna lift my spirits here. And she's in the sunshine at 9 in the morning in the North or the South Island of New Zealand.
South Island, so a little mountain village. I'm in Hamner Springs
All
on
right,
the north of the South Island,
great,
not far from Christchurch, about 90 minutes from Christchurch.
excellent. And you've got that fine Irish accent. God love you. And so
Yeah,
we know where you're from, right?
yeah, I'm from the west coast of Ireland, County Mayo.
Yes, bless you, bless you. But you've escaped to the sunshine. I'm not jealous. Ah! Good for you. So, I was saying
Yeah,
it's great to reconnect, and I was saying you wrote such a beautiful piece a couple days ago about living guilt-free in joy and happiness, and that no matter what the world is throwing at us, we were just chatting about my fire and starting over, and the challenges and the opportunities of life. This you were saying you feel this is what we're being asked to learn, all of us, to really be able to walk away from anything and begin again and know that the universe is at our back. Yeah?
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Take it away.
Walking through our fears, walking through our fears.
Yes.
I think this is all part of the awakening journey, as you well know, and I've had to walk through my deepest, darkest fears many years ago. So that's what it really reminds me, is that I'm seeing in the collective now is so many people having to walk through the dark night of the soul on that collective level, but that those deep fears, and the fear of judgment, the fear of loss, all the different ways that the little us, the little me, the egoic persona, is attached to all those hats that we've worn, and that personality and who we've been in the past. And so it's I remember in my own experiences, being kind of shoved up against the wall in so many ways, where I had no other option but to finally surrender. And a bit like your fire, no other option but to finally surrender and reach out for support, but not just truly receive it, and kind of have nothing else, nearly be at that place where there's no resistance anymore. So you're so surrendered that it is what it is, and it really is going through the fear of, I would say, ultimate death, which is change, of course. So all those mini changes, but ultimately it's walking through the fear of death, the death of the ego and all its attachments that creates that persona, that separation. And so only through walking through it will we rediscover and realize, beyond concepts and theories and other people's wonderful awakening stories, etc., that we truly have the universe by our back, because we are the universe within us, the microcosm of the macrocosm. All these things, I know myself, they all sounded so freaking cliche once upon a time when I was living in my egoic persona. And now, it's like, okay, I'm talking cliches the whole time, because now the realization is that the big me is like realized in where all these wise, wonderful sayings that have come from, those that we requote again and again, because on that deeper level they are that deeper truth. And when we connect to that resonance, then we become the speakers of that truth.
Beautiful, beautiful, fantastic. Yeah, yeah. Um, well, you are teaching and you're serving. You're working with people a lot as a teacher, as a healer. What are some of the things that you're dealing with in your clients and students that are coming to you these days?
Hmm. I guess what I kind of see in the world and see in people
Yeah.
is, and because I've walked through it myself and walked out the other side of trauma, is traumatized. A lot of traumatization and terrorization,
Okay.
um, and how that shows up is in people's nervous system, of course, as it did in my own. And I lived in sympathetic fight or flight for so many years.
Yeah.
So when you make that journey again and begin to come back into that parasympathetic nervous system and rewrite our stories really through the neural pathways and the perspectives, and really shift out of the lack and limiting and the guilt and the shame, and move through all those frequencies and expand out into that sense of abundance and connection and unity within. It's very easy to, from that expanded sense of our own consciousness, to really be very, it's very obvious. It's very obvious to see that trauma in others. So that's what I see. And of course, a lot of that is a reflection of what the media and what the storylines that people are tuning into, and how much people are given their sense of self and sense of safety to the outer world and to the storylines that are coming into them on our little devices, etc., etc.
Sure.
So I guess especially since August, since we had, as you, well, I'm guessing you know, or most people will know, but in New Zealand, we had quite a nice time of it while the rest of the world was going through their own lockdowns.
Right.
We were sitting back here really in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
However, there's still the bombardment of preparation of the mind that people were going through, who
Right.
were tuning into the media, and I could feel that and see that, how quickly that came into effect when we went into that sudden lockdown in August, and literally meeting people within my own little mountain village with the most spectacular, beautiful, fresh air, wearing these on the streets and jogging was just like mind-blowing for me, because we don't tune into that media, and we're creating, you know, we're very much in that alignment and creating our tune into the frequencies that we choose to create and live and be each day. So we're very mindful and aware of what we tune in, because what we put in, we become, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's the food or the information. And so that was very interesting. Just that contrast of being in my own vibration, being in nature, feeling that peace and tranquility, and then coming across a fellow beautiful human and just feeling in their energy field so much disarray and dissonance and terror, like fear and terror and confusion and overwhelm, and where to be with it all.
Sure.
And so so that was really interesting, and really going, and like literally, because I wasn't really tuned into anything, to me the lockdown was like, yay, a retreat I could do with this time for myself, and I really felt that in my heart. I needed a bit of a rest. So it was meeting people. It was through meeting people that really was like, whoa, what are people actually tuning into? What are they listening to?
Right.
What is creating this effect in them? What is bringing about this energy in them?
Trauma.
And real terror, real like and really, to me, it's like little children that all of a sudden, something that feel like the carpet has been pulled out of them, out from under them, and just really unsure, uncertain, and just desperate to kind of find their feet again, I guess, and that means do the right thing, be good girls and boys, and comply really, to get things, to get that peace of mind back again. And I guess that's what I compare to, like, the insurance companies, just this whole thing of stealing people's peace of mind.
Right.
But again, that can only happen if people give it over,
Sure.
know. And
exactly.
And unfortunately, we've been, collectively has been so well trained, well conditioned to hand it over and not feel empowered. So that was really what my message was about. Not to be guilted and shamed into feeling like we're that it's like it's all serious. If I go back to just a memory of my own family growing up in Ireland, I remember being in India and traveling and going on my journey and discovering yoga and meditation, and beginning to shift my perspective and vibration and my understanding of myself and all of this, and feeling more content and peaceful and happy, and open up to the possibilities, and getting excited about that it's really possible, even though I knew it in my heart, but begin to really gather more experience and information to to substantiate that,
Right.
and affirmation. And I remember my sister, you know, in all well intentioned, but you know, as
Yes.
I was coming back to my home house, you know, she felt that she needed to warn me of how bad things were,
Oh,
and to get me
okay.
off of my so-called cloud, you know,
Right.
my happy cloud, to
Right.
bring me back, down to reality, you know. But of
Yes. Back
course,
to Earth.
it was her perception of reality,
Yes.
and you know, it wasn't my perception of reality. So
Yeah.
it's, yeah, so it's really that reminder of not to succumb to other people's reality and their belief systems,
Yeah.
and that, you know, we to stay true to yeah, to the vibration of what we know in our hearts to be. And yeah, and it, there's so much of that going on now. I think it's like yeah, feeling projecting shame, you know, projecting shame to fit in, to comply to this storyline. And it's
Yeah.
like, I don't think so. I don't, you know, it's not, I don't
Yeah.
think so. And it's
No
not
thanks.
necessary.
Yeah.
No, thank
Yeah.
you. No,
Yeah.
thank
Yeah. Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
No, thank you. And when you understand energy, frequency, and energy, you
Yes.
know, it's the game. It's game on. It is
Yes.
truly game on.
Yeah.
This is the game.
Now you've got me heart and soul, my friend, one more time as usual. Yes, this is the game, darling, and this is what we came for, and this is why we've had the joy of overcoming our own traumas. You know, and so when you're working, that was absolutely brilliant. Thank you. When you're working with people, are they ready to let go of their trauma? Are they willing to let go of their trauma, or do they think they still need to hold on to their trauma? That's
Well,
sweeping
I'll
general
yeah,
question.
I'll speak to it this way from my
Yes,
observation.
sure.
So one of the things I noticed in 2020, so we had the lockdown here for 2.5 months in 2020. So one of the biggest things, I mean, I just feel like I could just go back the last 10 years, 11 years in New Zealand
Yeah,
alone with my business. So started my holistic day spa business, and then moved into our retreat here, Vibrant Living Retreat, and day spa business, and I do massage training. So I've got to observe thousands of people,
right.
of clients over those years.
Yes.
And if I go back to when I initially started, um you know, I would speak about, you know, people, this is pre-earthquake in Christchurch.
Okay.
um people would be very reserved and didn't really want to speak even much about the mind body connection. So
Uh,
it was like, you know, like coming for a massage and be like, go hard, or you know, and
yeah.
I'd be talking to them about the breath and getting out of these memes, these conditionings of no pain, no gain, and the
Right.
certain memes, you know, that we've grown
Yes.
up with. Like in
Sure.
New Zealand, they have this one called "Suck It Up," and you're made of
Right.
eat concrete, you know. So kids are being told this stuff. So then they grow up to be these hardened
Yeah.
adults, you know, that's always like
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
maybe that was appropriate at one point in time, but not anymore.
Sure.
So then the earthquakes happened, and then
Yes.
people really started to, you know, again be traumatized,
Yeah.
and that sense of security in the old way was rattled.
Yes.
Literally, the earth was rattling.
Yes.
And that security, so anxiety was high, and people were more open to really start having that conversation and that
Uh,
awareness of the mind body connection and
yeah.
the breath to
Yeah.
the body and all of that. So
Yeah.
that was transpiring though there,
Yes.
you know. So it's amazing how these events, you know, shake our
Yeah.
world,
Yeah. Yeah.
shake our known world, to bring up stuff, and
Yeah.
then, you know, then we become more surrendered
Yeah.
and open to a new conversation, a new possibility, a new way of looking at ourselves and connecting. Now, before this earthquakes in New Zealand, people sometimes on my massage tip would laugh at me when I started to talk them through the breathing and understand that the breath is the language of the body. And as they go deeper into that deep diaphragmatic breathing, they're switching on the parasympathetic nervous system, and that we're working with the intelligence of the body.
Yeah.
And people would laugh at me sometimes as I begin to talk about the breath. They'd be like, of course I'm breathing, I'm alive, you know. So once the earthquakes passed, that really shifted. I could just feel people are more attentive, they're more interested, because they wanted to help themselves, you know.
Sure.
Because that's the thing, right? In crises, this, we're looking for solution and more open to solution.
Yeah.
And then then there was the gun, there was the shooting in Christchurch that happened a few years ago. So anyway, so this is this ongoing journey, and then the lockdown 2020. So one of the biggest things I noticed after our 2020 lockdown of clients coming in the door was how open people were to emotions and
Great.
having the emotional conversation. So
Wow.
before that, mind, body, yes, but when it came to the emotions, some people were more open, but a lot of people didn't want to go there. I could feel
Yeah.
it in their field the minute I went into it. Yes,
Yeah.
some yes, some no.
Yeah.
And after that lockdown, all of a sudden, it was like I could just keep talking and talking and talking, and people were like, they were just drinking it up. It's like finally somebody is talking about all these emotional
Right.
stuff. You know, it
Right.
was like relief. I could feel relief in their field to
Sure.
have somebody give context
Yeah.
to what they were feeling, that they didn't have a language or a context or somebody really speaking to them authentically that way.
Sure.
So that was
Beautiful.
one of the biggest things I really, really noticed. And then as the time kind of went through the year and a half or however long before we went into our last lockdown,
Right.
you know, it kind of what would you say, you know, it was there, but I guess because there hadn't been another lockdown, people had semi gone back, you know, it had kind of normalized, so to speak.
Sure. Sure.
And then when this other lockdown came in August, it was only 2.5 weeks down the South Island, so it wasn't prolonged, but the media, oh my golly, has that amped up incredibly. And it's more the threatening, and this is where it's like abusive parenting. I mean, that's what I see.
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Gov are the surrogate
Sure.
parents who, you know, we've given authority and power to, and we're the little children, and now they're being very abusive.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
terrorizing. If you don't do what I say, I will take the toys away,
Oh yeah. Sure. Sure.
etc.,
Yeah.
etc.,
Yeah.
etc.,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
So yeah, so now with all this coming more real in people's faces again,
Yeah.
what I'm noticing is one of the busiest retreats that people are booking on for us is actually the quantum wellness retreats. So people are wanting to heal and really
Yes.
look at stuff in a deeper way, and they are realizing that it's an inner, you know, they're beginning
Yeah.
to take greater self-responsibility
Yes, I hear
and make, I'll give you a great example.
Yeah.
A lady is just booked her 40th birthday here with
Right.
her partner on a quantum wellness retreat, and she said she was going to do a big 40th birthday bash, you know, and it would have been alcohol and hangovers and all the rest of it, which, you know, it would have been nice, and it definitely would have been the older version of her.
Yeah.
But now, through being so challenged and having a really tough week, she literally said no. And she talked to me about it before, but she hadn't quite made the decision.
Right.
But through everything happening, she's like, right, that's it. I just want to come to you and give myself this birthday present, you know? So it's all these crossroads, you know,
Yeah.
of do we do things in the old way, in the old
Yeah.
version of us, and
Yeah.
and the old Lou version that lived in the old apartment, or, you
Right.
know, it's like, or
Right.
this new version of, you know, the time is now.
Yeah.
The time is now.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's not putting it off anymore. And do I do the old version of me, or do I do the new version and connect to something deeper that
Yeah.
can carry me through these times and give me that sense of confidence and faith and you know, and guide us, you know.
Yeah.
I find myself telling a lot of people on the retreats that our ego does not have, it can't deal with this. It's too much, and it's meant to be too much, so that we can surrender the little will
Yes.
for thy will,
Yes. Yes.
will, and surrender to the heart, humble to the heart again and again.
Yeah.
And, you know, and for me as well, I'm sure yourself,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I don't have the answers. I
Yeah.
don't friggin' have the answers.
Yeah.
However, I do have the choice to
Listen.
drop in
Yeah.
and be guided and
Yeah. Yeah.
trust and surrender and humble myself every day to my heart and
Yeah.
to the universe and to the Christed light and God and whatever we want to call it,
Yeah.
source,
Yeah.
and be guided on this and allow that energy, that expanded frequency to be spoken through me and to
Yeah.
guide me and to just be in this moment, because of course the ultimate truth is there's only this moment.
Yes. 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 The eternal now. Yeah. No, that's absolutely beautiful, honey. That's a lot of wisdom and a lot of great insights in everything you're sharing there. You know, and it's wonderful, MJ, to hear. You know. uh, the how people are responding, resisting, and recovering. In your life and with and through your work, with them. And yeah, that was a wonderful story of the woman who's now really taking responsibility for her health and the kind of life she really wants to live, and not just trying to distract herself and escape and feel good for a few hours, but really wants to learn the skills, and the spiritual practices that you just touched on so beautifully there. Um, yeah, I mean, it's stepping into the unknown. I don't know if you listen to Patricia Cota Robles. She's one of my favorite teachers, and
Yeah, I
she.
haven't listened to her, but I haven't listened to her lately. But yes, I'm
Okay,
aware of her.
okay. Well, I could send you a thing. She just did a 2.5 hour program with some other teachers on the 11/11, and it had to do with the 40 days, 40 nights from 11/11 to the solstice. And she and other astrologers are saying that these next 2 months are going to be basically the essence of the last 2 years. And so, and that's capped off by we have a lunar eclipse happening Friday, and then 2 weeks later, 2nd of December, we have a solar eclipse happening. And so, the eclipses, of course, do this with everything and everyone. They stir things up, and they stir everyone's emotions up, et cetera, et cetera. So just that's the map that I've taken on, and I've done her work nearly daily for the last 2 or 3 years, and she's just been a wonderful guide for me as well. And so it basically is what you're saying about the gift of the gift of any crisis, but especially this one that we've all agreed to on some level, that we're trying to wake up from on some level at the same time, it is demanding that we be as authentic and honest and responsible as humanly possible, and as surrendered. That we come to our human limits of our skills and our resources and our relationships and all that, and then we still go, no, it's still not okay. I'm still not okay. Surrender, surrender, surrender.
Yeah.
And yeah,
And
for me also, it's become a daily practice this whole last year. Yeah.
yeah, and I just want to touch on that surrender word, because I feel like sometimes we think surrender is just lay down and do nothing. We think it's that. It's far from it.
No. Yes.
It's surrendering to truly going with the flow of our hearts and our alignment. And to
Yeah.
me, that word alignment is
Yes.
really just coming central,
Yes.
and what our alignment,
Yeah.
and really connecting. And it's the toolkit, it's everything that we have shown up each day in our greatest alignment. And
Yeah.
that is a choice. See, this is the cross, our alignment into the center of the earth, into the center of the cosmos.
Yeah.
And then from there, expanding out into this realm of our human experience. And how do we express, as we bring heaven and earth together within our own energy field, and
Yeah.
and express from there. And so that's what gives us the deeper courage and the deeper clarity beyond, to really discern and go beyond the mental confusion and all these games and all these distractions and all these ploys to seduce us into the duality, the divisiveness.
Yeah.
And it's you have to be very, it is great self responsibility and awareness to play this game, as Yeshua said, Jesus said, to be in the world and to know that you're not of the world, that
Yes.
you are walking through this, you're walking through this world.
Yeah.
And to be in that alignment, that
Yeah.
0 point field of the heart,
Yeah. Yeah.
and to acknowledge. So we're not ignoring, we're acknowledging it all. We're
Right.
able to hold or be space or be that expanded consciousness,
Yeah.
and choose very clearly,
Mhm.
with a lot of awareness and discernment of how we focus, how we sorry uh, how we focus our faculties,
Yes.
of thought, word, deed,
Yes.
energy.
Yes, yes, yes. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, so much wisdom in that. Yeah, to be in the world and not of it is to live in the heart of the paradox. And as you're saying, it's, I mean, even that beautiful, the way you, expressed it. The heart is below the mind. The heart supports the mind. The mind is the visionary part of us, but the heart is the place where we live, where we return to, where we retreat to. Yeah. And so, the earth is the heart. That's one of my little ebooks there, Earth Heart Journal. The earth is the heart. And the mind is in service to the heart and the earth. Then we have that sustainability in the eternal moment of now. But if we're living out of the mind and disconnected from the heart, or alienated from the heart, I mean, that's really what fear and trauma and propaganda and getting people living in paradise to walk around with surgical masks over their face while they're jogging. I mean, if that's mind fucking on a grand scale, the like of which we've never seen, pardon the expression, and we're all going, wait, what? How is this even possible? How are intelligent, educated people who, would never in a million years be fooled, going for this so deeply? And to me, it's a spiritual nervous breakdown of the human race. As we're saying here, Han, the trauma is bringing up all the trauma that hasn't been processed and resolved yet. Yeah, and so that it's a crossroads for the whole planet. And those of us that have anything to say about it or share about it, we're going like, could be over here, my friends. It might be in this direction. I've been going down this road for a while. You might want to have a think about it. And they're going, no, you're crazy, you're mad, you're insane. Okay, good luck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. Absolutely. And so bringing herself back to, such a compassion, and I know in my own heart of hearts, I have so much compassion because I can see the trauma and I lived through the trauma, and I know I know what it was like to really, to be so, my sense of self and my sense of self-worth and self-value and validation, etc., was so hung on that outside world and those people around me, that I had lost such a sense of of that connection to myself. I had so stopped trusting here for so many years in my younger years, and my sense of self was so at the whim of the outer world. And so that's what I see in people and that's why the solution is to come back here. And that's why when people come on my retreats or anything I share, whatever I share, is always pointing the arrow back to themselves, back to their heart, back to themselves. Because I truly believe and know that's the only shift, that's the only difference in me, is that I came from that traumatized child, younger person with so much to resolve, went on the journey and walked through those fears and anxieties, and started to respect myself more, come back into my heart, trust here, humble myself, and go on the journey. And this is guiding now. This is beyond all of that now, and I can hold, all of what was in that field with compassion and love, and return it to love, and then once we're not being once we're not running off those old patterns and traumas, then we can truly create again. We can truly allow that old reality, that old way of projecting, expecting, patterning. We can allow, in the quantum physics, we can allow those particles, waves, whichever formulates. You know what I mean? We can allow that old reality to collapse, and then we can create again from the infinite field of the heart into that newly clarified, desired alignment. It just is. It's already there, waiting for us to allow ourselves to collapse that old reality. So which that means is we're not giving energy to it. We're not giving reality to it through our beliefs and our focuses, and
Yeah.
that takes, it takes that journey, and it takes moving through our greatest, at least that was my journey. It took me to really move through my the worst fears,
Yeah.
the guilt, the
Yeah.
shame, the
Of course.
judgment,
Of
the
course.
fear of the legal system, the fear of
Yeah.
authority outside
Yeah.
of me, to really reclaim that inner authority,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's ultimately, it's like trusting. Now I'm trusting in this beyond any of
Yes.
that,
Right. Exactly.
and
Yes.
guiding from this inner authority.
Yeah.
From and I've been challenged, because we're all being challenged,
Sure,
right?
honey. Sure.
And there was a challenge that came up within my business about how we were navigating this,
I see.
and I really had to look at, you know, still just a little bit of fear of going, okay, do I do this thing?
Right.
And in the words of David Icke, about, to not potentially suffer a consequence. And I had to look at still that little fear that was in me, that I had to look where I was being
Sure.
basically
Sure.
threatened
Yes.
in a
Yes.
way.
Sure.
And so that brought up that, I really had to look at it. But when I went deeper and I spent a few days with myself,
Yeah.
I realized, because I was even speaking to Steve, oh, well, it wouldn't be a big deal. We can just do this thing. But when I spent time alone, I realized this little thing adds to the next little
Yeah.
thing, adds to the next little thing,
Yeah.
adds to the next little thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if I make this choice out of fear,
Right.
is that empowering or is that disempowering?
Sure.
And I realized that my empowerment was into this deeper inner authority. And I ended up writing to this particular person that was
Right.
making these threats
Yeah.
at that time, and I just allowed it to come from my heart.
Beautiful.
And it was
For you.
delivered, and it was delivered, and it was received, and the person
Wow.
actually said, thank you.
Wow.
You.
Brilliant. Well,
Yeah.
you're
So
my hero.
when we can connect to that alignment, and to that deep, authentic alignment and
Yeah.
truth of
Yeah.
source, of God, of
Yes.
Christ consciousness, whatever
Yeah, yeah.
words want to give it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
something beyond the fear, beyond the duality, beyond the games.
Yeah.
And we go here, and that was an opportunity for me. It was
Right.
like, no, this is my alignment, this is my truth, and I'm going to come from here. This is my empowerment, and whatever happens, but this is my empowerment.
Yeah.
And I know through the source and the God of me that, that I live on.
Yeah, baby.
Eternal life.
Yeah.
Eternal now.
Yeah. Well, bless you. You're my hero, darling. You set yourself free by facing your fears and finding your faith, and speaking truth to power, and taking your power back about all that. No, I'm so proud of you. That is the initiation. Absolutely the initiation. In the indigenous cultures, right? I don't know what it is for the Maori, but in the native cultures, when you're going to be, you're a 13-year-old or 15-year-old boy, and you're going to be a warrior. You know the story. They take you from your family and your tribe, and the men take the boys up into the mountains, and they have them get bit by a rattlesnake, or have to live in a kiva for a couple days, weeping and crying, and wanting their mom and all that, and then they come out, they've died and then been reborn, and they did that by saying their prayers, by remembering a great spirit, and that there's that merging again, that remembrance, that reawakening. Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, babe, that's the stuff. That's it.
So it's quite the dance, right? To be in the world and not of the world, and
Yes.
how to navigate, and to stay true, to come back in, to express out, to navigate, to be aware of what's happening, and then to come back in.
Yeah.
It's quite the dance of consciousness.
Yes, it's a journey every time. I hear you. I love what you're saying. And yeah, darling, when you take, I did an interview with a lovely lady named Ali Ray, who's in Hawaii, a few days ago, and she was saying the same thing about the silence. And she's like yourself, just overflowing with love and joy and appreciation and happiness, and and she says basically she's just staying in the silence most of the time. And I have other friends on the path, teachers and all that. And yeah, for me too, because I've been on my own here, I have, of course, spent more time in silence, and I've gotten more appreciative of giving myself that time and space and just listening to my heart and my mind, and the quiet, and the stillness, and like you're saying, letting things settle back in, letting things, find their natural shape and their right place inside my heart and my mind and my life. And then I know, okay, I'm done now. The answer is on its way, and it will show up when it needs to show up. But I've opened myself up to receive the answer and to know there is an answer. That's my
Yeah.
practice. Yeah, but it is, as you say, it's very humbling. And no matter how far up the road or up the mountain or down the highway we think we are, no, every day this is required. Now you've got to keep getting out of your own way. And as I say, after, for me, the fire, I think I've been doing that pretty much every day this last year. And then, as I'm saying here, so Patricia's saying this period of the 40 days between the November 11th gateway and the solstice is just, look out, here we go, everyone, fire sale, tsunami, earthquake, emotionally, whether it manifests in the physical or not, and I'm seeing that, you've maybe seen that already, people are suddenly like up against their limits very quickly. And I'm going, okay, this is different, so yeah, I think we're in for a bumpy ride for a few months, but it doesn't have to be. As we're saying here, if we keep giving God a deep listen in our heart every day, it gets smoother and easier. I was saying, I just had two interviews taken of me, and I did my music, and we did a music video, and that all just happened on Saturday, and here we are,
Mm.
yeah, Tuesday. So things are flowing, and I love you madly, sweetheart. It's always great to catch up with you, and you're doing such great work. But what else would you like to share with us as we're coming down the home stretch here?
Yeah, I'd really like to share. I'd really like to share what everybody already knows, but I just want to reiterate it. I'm guessing everyone who listens to your channel will know. It's gratitude, 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 gratitude. As a practical tool. We use gratitude every day here. If we don't do it one day, we miss it. It is a vibrational shifting tool. It is something that really, in the depths of my fear, when I would wake up in incredible fear and overwhelm and all that old stuff coming up to the
Sure.
surface, I
Yeah.
had a little sign in my shower, and it used to say, what are you grateful for today? And this is what I share at my retreat. Sometimes I did not feel grateful. I would have to ask that a few times until eventually I would go, okay, what am I grateful for? And meet yourself where you are. Meet yourself right where you are. And for me, it was in my shower, because that's where I was asking myself. And I would go, and it's been sincere with the gratitude. It's not, as I share when I'm doing it with people around, I get everybody to hold hands. We call it the gratitude circle before meals here. And thankfully people take it out and expand it out. So
Yeah.
please take it into your household, share it with your families,
Yeah.
share it with yourself. If it's only you, you can hold your own hand. What am I grateful for today?
Yeah.
Me, myself, and I, what are we grateful for?
Sure.
And just meet yourself where you are. So how it transpired for me was, first I would start like, oh, I'm so grateful to have a shower. I'm so grateful I have hot water. I'm so grateful that I have a bathroom to have a shower in. I'm so grateful that I had a bed to sleep in last night. So just that simple, but
Sure.
truly, truly, it would help me shift my vibration out of the fear. It was like taking my own hand from the part of me that was crippled, or not crippled, kind of caught in the fear.
Yes.
And it was just a way to take myself over that bridge.
Yes.
Gratitude is a very practical. And I often say to people, it's not just about being nice, not about being nice. Get into that sincerity
Yeah.
of, what am I sincerely grateful for
Yes.
in this moment? What can I be
Yes.
sincerely grateful for in
Yeah.
this moment?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful of my breath. Oh, I'm so grateful that I remember to take a good deep breath. I'm so grateful that I have the earth underneath my feet to support me this day
Yeah.
as I walk my path.
Yeah.
Really coming back to that sincere gratitude. And then once we start to shift our vibration out of the fear, which closes our heart, that takes us into that left brain, we start to shift back into more the right brain, into the heart. Then once we take ourselves over that bridge, and we're back into that heart space again, then that's when we start going, okay, if I could create anything with my
Yeah.
day, you know, coming back from the heart, what would I create? What is it that lights me up, that
Yeah. Yeah.
lights up my heart and my
Beautiful.
soul? And then just
Beautiful.
really be in that for a few minutes,
Yeah.
really be in that dreaming, and that's imprinting on the energetic field coming
Yeah.
from the heart into your reality, and just be with that. And that could be as simple as, you know, today I want to feel at ease in my body, and to be around other people where we meet each other, and just being together, we can feel this softening and relaxation within all our fields and our hearts, and there's an openness that's being shared, and
Yeah.
we feel safe together, and that we can be ourselves, and that we can communicate, and there's a resonance, and that we are supported, and that we leave each other's company feeling a little bit more uplifted, a little bit more encouraged, a little bit more hopeful, whatever it is, you know. But getting to that real, again, that sincerity, that and what really lights us up. And I feel like that's what so much is stripping us back, to get back to
Yeah.
not what we've been so programmed to think as our values and obsessions and
Yes.
and concerns and
Yes.
hang-ups and all the rest of us. But
Yes.
coming back to the sincerity in our heart, what is it now? What is it that the journey that has got us here? What have we learned along that journey that we're just so passionate on that deep soulful level to really be ready to experience?
Yeah.
And that's it. We just let it go, and open up and be on the journey. And so it is.
Yeah, sweetheart. Yeah, no, I can't leave you on that one. I mean, that's you're singing my song, my friend. That's the difference between awareness and wisdom. You know, to me, wisdom, awareness is, it would be good if I ate healthy and exercised and meditate and pray every day and journal and treat others the way I want to be treated. Wisdom is, I am doing those things because it improves the quality of my experience of life. And this was, this came up in my chat with this lovely fellow Peter on Saturday. Uh, my guides say love, joy, appreciation, and gratitude. And those are the four pillars of wisdom, basically. And as you're saying about gratitude and how and I love the word sincere. That means with our heart, you know, fully, completely with our heart. So when we're making a prayer, giving thanks, being grateful, with the full passion and power of our loving heart, then God is invited to be a part of the picture. You know, when we're caring and sharing, then God is, I'm there, baby. You know, if we're up here going, why don't they this and why won't it that and how come nobody the other, you know, it's like God's bored to tears with that, you know. But yes, if
Well, you know, it's that's just mental. It's just a mental construct. It's
yeah,
just a mental
yeah,
game. It's not the reality of life. I mean, we
right,
can convince
right,
ourselves of it, and we've been convinced of it.
yeah,
This is
yeah,
the reality of life.
yes.
This is what's creating the reality of
Yes,
life.
yes, yes. I've also, exactly, and beautifully said, I've also been listening to a lot of people's near-death experiences recently. You know,
Mm.
of course, it's the same thing that you're touching on here. And it's I mean, for me, I just want to say here, for some reason this is jumping into my head. So coming from the States to come to Ireland with my Irish ancestry, of which I knew nothing, was my like pilgrimage. And I think for you, you know, creating your own reality with Steve and having your beautiful retreat center in New Zealand has also been like you know, having your pilgrimage and living in your own way on the earth in the way that suits you and fits you and all that. And so you're right that, you know, when we're grateful for the freedom and the choices and the beautiful people and the wonderful opportunities and everything that we have to be grateful for in our life, that's one level of vibration where the earth, you know, rises up and celebrates that. When we're, and this is something I channel about all the time these days with this time period here, when we're willing to be the visionary, as you touched on, and see the dream of our life working and our life working, helping other people's life to be working, you know, then it's really magical. It's really miraculous. You know, use me this day for your divine and joyous purpose. That's one of the affirmations that I like. So I love what you're saying about gratitude, about appreciating what we have from that place of Thanksgiving, and then using that as a way to also invite more into our lives.
Hmm. Yeah, and that service, that next level of service, is truly coming from the joy. So that's when tapping into that. What would bring us the greatest joy? What is that true joy of the heart? And of course, it's always simple stuff.
Yeah,
It's simple stuff, because
yeah,
all the running and the chasing and the all this stuff, what's it all for? Because
yeah,
we want to be able to sit in peace with ourselves. We
sure.
want to know that all is well. We
Yeah,
want to be able to relax and enjoy the sun on our face,
yeah,
listen to the birds, and all of that is always available to us.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
always there.
yeah,
And so it's just utilizing those tools, the gratitude, coming back, where we can finally receive it. Actually,
sure.
we can
Yes,
finally receive it. And it does take a healthy self-esteem to know that I'm worthy, to even take myself on the journey of gratitude, even take myself back into the heart, that I deserve this. I do not need to keep perpetuating these old terrors and traumas on myself. That I am
yes,
worthy. So there
yes.
is a place of getting to that place of going, I deserve better than this. I'm not doing this to myself
Yeah,
anymore. I'm going switching. As I say to people, you have the remote. You can switch it off. You
yeah,
actually have the power.
yeah,
You
yeah,
have the power. This
yeah, yeah.
little thumb has the power
Yes,
to
yes. Good.
change the channel, switch
Yes,
the remote,
yes, yeah,
do it with discernment, switch
yeah,
into this beautiful channel of nature. I felt
yeah,
guided to bring you out into nature
yeah,
today, and to remind that this is reality, this
yeah.
beautiful
It,
planet, this beautiful nature. And of course, that's what we've forgotten, and that's what's looking to be remembered,
sure,
reconnected with, so that
sure.
we can go, oh my God, this beautiful planet and this beautiful gift of a body, and it has senses and ability to express my spiritual essence, and to walk on this planet, to smell and to taste and to hear. And we've created our life as a burden and a
Yes,
survival,
yes,
rather
yes.
than this beautiful gift. Every day we wake up with this gift. What am I going to do with this gift today? This gift of life, this gift of
Right.
walking in a body, of talking, of using my vocal cords to communicate my heart, and just it's just
Yes,
so
yes,
exciting.
yes, yes. It's a pity you have no enthusiasm. Yes, darling. 1,000 times yes. Bless you. Bless you. Well, you're such a beautiful friend and such a sweet reminder of what's important. 1,000 thanks, my dear lady. Yes, what a great gift of inspiration you're giving us here today. I'm very grateful.
Mm,
Yeah.
thank you. My heart is so happy to share, and thank you so much for receiving. Bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure. Where can people find you if they want to track you down in New Zealand?
If you want to track me down in New Zealand, well, my website is vibrantliving.co.nz, and I have a Facebook page, Vibrant Living Retreat and Mountain View Day Spa. I also have a website called Vibrant Wellness Academy, where I do holistic intuitive massage trainings and different kind of holistic trainings. And on Facebook. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And are you still doing your interviews as well? You did a whole bunch of them last year.
Yeah, I did 20 altogether. The
Right.
Stories of Awakening, which was really, really awesome.
Yes, I
I
got to be
haven't
in there.
done that. Yeah, you were in there. Cool.
Yes, that was a
And
joy.
it was so beautiful to have that journey with everybody and to share those stories. Yeah, I haven't felt inspired to go in that way, just with my business and everything I'm doing. That balance of taking that quiet time for me,
Sure,
it
sure,
seems to be the most important now.
sure.
And the writings. So what I'm sharing on Facebook. So yeah, maybe that's a good place for people to send me a message. Though I do, unless I see that I'm connected with a lot of resonant people, I always check anybody who tries to befriend me on Facebook to make sure there's a resonance there.
Sure.
I always check people's pages just to see if we're in
Oh
the
yeah,
same vibratory.
me too.
You
Yeah.
know.
Oh yeah, saves
Yeah.
time and trouble. Yes. So,
Yeah,
Dawn,
because
people want to.
at the end of the day, we have to be discerning. We have to be very
Of course,
discerning
of
of
course.
our resonance.
Yes.
But yeah, for the moment, writing between my business on being on the ground with whoever's here in real time, embodiment kind of connections. Then apart from that, at the moment is just the writings that I'm doing on
Good.
Facebook. I just find
Okay.
that I transfer some of them into blogs and things on my website. So that seems to be me at the moment.
Okay. All right, great. And if they want to see those 20 interviews, where do they go for that?
Oh yes, so yeah, thank you for that. There's a page, a public page on Facebook called Stories of Awakening. You
Okay.
can go on there,
Okay.
and they're all in there. If you go down, they're
Okay.
all in there.
I'll
A
put
few
the
Facebook
links.
streams as well.
Okay.
And or otherwise, we do have a YouTube channel called Vibrant Living Wellness, and there's a playlist called Stories of Awakening, so they're on there as well.
Okay, great. Great. Maybe you send me one or two of those connections so I can put that with the video here.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
That'd be
I
great.
can do that.
Okay, darling. Thank you so much, honey.
But perhaps we may need another round. 2022.
Yes. Oh my God.
Updated
Yes.
stories of
Yes.
the awakened ones.
Yes. Well, I'm telling you,
Awakened.
sweetheart. I read your piece. I've been looking for it here while we were talking, and I can't find it because it was from last week. But you know, it really, you know, lifted the roof, and I thought, I need to talk to MJ. She's got it going on right now. It's happening with her and her movie. So I'm so thrilled to reconnect with you, and anytime you like, I'm happy to chat anytime, sweetheart.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Lovely to connect with you, Lou, and thank you for all you be and all you share and all you continue to you know, just share and care, really. It's as simple as that, isn't it?
It's pretty simple, isn't it? Yes.
Pretty simple. It's pretty simple.
Good.
Yeah.
All
Not
right.
always easy. Pretty simple.
Right. That's right. It's simple but not easy. It gets easy with practice. And it is.
It can be easy. It can be easy. It can be easy. But with compassion, we say, with compassion, understanding, we know that it hasn't always been easy. It gets easier with practice. And when we shift a lot of that old energy patterns, vibration, then we can really be on that pathway with more ease, more joy, more flow, more accessibility, and we don't be in that reaction so long. It just gets less and less and less, and we can really take ourselves out of it, and we just go beyond it a lot quicker.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, this is judgment versus discernment, and this is responding versus reacting. You know, yeah, and I love what you're saying. Well, let's meet again and do this real soon. And all my love to you and Steve. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste, sweetheart. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Love you. Bye for now.
Love you. Mwah. Bye for now.